Thomas and Percy are good friends, but sometimes Percy teases Thomas about being frightened, and he doesn't like that at all. One evening, he was dozing happily, but Percy wanted to talk. "Wake up, Thomas. Are you dreaming about the time you thought I was a ghost?" "Certainly not. Anyway, I was only pretending to be scared. I knew it was you, really." Percy went on teasing him. "I hope the guard leaves the light on for you tonight." "Why?" asked Thomas. "I quite like the dark." "Oh, really?" exclaimed Percy. "I am surprised. I always thought you were afraid of the dark. I wonder why." Thomas decided to say nothing and went to sleep instead. Next day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see him. "I would like you to go to the harbor tonight. You have to collect something rather unusual." "What sort of something?" asked Thomas. "Wait and see," replied Sir Topham Hatt. Meanwhile, Percy was moving freight cars into a siding. Henry arrived with his goods train. The signalman changed the switches, and Percy waited on the siding until Henry had steamed by. Then there was trouble. "The switches are jammed," called the signalman. "I can't switch them back for Percy. The workmen will have to mend them in the morning. It's too late now." Said Percy's driver. "I'm sorry, Percy, but you'll have to stay here for the night." "Where are you going?" asked Percy. "Home for tea," replied the fireman. Percy was speechless. He watched as the other engines went home to the shed. Nighttime came, and Percy began to feel very lonely. "Oh, dear," he murmured. "It's very dark." Oh, what's that?" It was only an owl, but Percy didn't realize this. "Oh, I wish Thomas were here too," he sighed. Thomas was waiting for his mysterious load at the harbor. Suddenly, there it was. "Cinders and ashes," cried Thomas. "It's a dragon." "Don't worry," laughed his driver. "This dragon is made of paper. It's for the carnival tomorrow." Workmen lifted the dragon onto Thomas's low loader and put lights all round it for protection. Then Thomas set off into the misty night. Percy was asleep on his siding and had no idea that Thomas was approaching him. Percy woke up with a start. "Help!" cried Percy. "I'm not going to open my eyes until my driver comes." Next morning, the switches were mended, and Percy puffed back to the junction. Gordon was just about to leave with the express. "You'll never guess what I saw last night." Gordon was in no mood for puzzles. "I'm a busy engine. I don't have time for your games." "I've seen a huge dragon. It was covered in lights." Gordon snorted. "You've been in the sun too long. Your dome has cracked." When the other engines heard the news, they laughed too. "Look out, Percy," chuckled James, "or the dragon may gobble you up." "No one believes me," huffed Percy. "Maybe I did imagine the dragon after all." But Percy soon found out that he hadn't. "Help! Save me!" cried Percy. "It's all right," whistled Thomas, and he explained about the carnival. "By the way, how was your night out?" Percy decided to tell Thomas the truth. "Well, Percy," said Thomas, "maybe we do get scared sometimes, but if we're not afraid to tell each other, then that means we're quite brave, too."
Stepney, the Bluebell engine, works closely with his friend Rusty. One day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see him. Rusty tells me you're in need of a change, so I want you to help Toby and Mavis in the quarry. Oh, thank you, sir, said Stepney. Shall I be away long? Just today. But please be careful. It is easy to get lost up there, so be back before dark. We will, said the driver. Stepney soon arrived at the quarry. We're glad you're here to help us, said Toby. Are these my cars? Asked Stepney. Only some of them. There's masses more in the sidings, replied Mavis. The more the merrier. Stepney was really enjoying himself. The dustier he became, the harder he worked. Mavis and Toby were impressed. Then the foreman spoke to his driver. We have a night special to take to the building site at the new branch line. Do you want to pull the train? Yes, please, said the driver. But he should have asked Sir Topham Hatt first. Night came. Be careful, Stepney, advised Toby. I will, and thank you for a lovely day. I do hope I can come back again. The line can be spooky, said Mavis. Thank you for the warning. And with that, Stepney puffed away. Stepney arrived on time and made the delivery of rocks and stones for the workmen. Then he set off for home. That's when the trouble began. The fog came down. Mavis was right. Suddenly everything does look spooky. There's a signal box, called his driver. And the signal light is green. Someone must have been expecting us. But they weren't. The points had been set in the wrong direction, but Stepney didn't realize this. Home, here we come! Then they approached an unknown area. The driver made a decision. It's best if we rest here until the fog clears. What are those strange sounds? Wondered Stepney. Then the fog slowly lifted. Oh no! We're in the scrapyards! His driver and firemen went for help. Stepney was all alone, but not for long. 2 diesels approached. Got you this time, Stepney. You'll make very fine scrap indeed. Buffer 'em, Bert. The diesels took him to the large smelter shed. Bye-bye, Stepney. Stepney looked up. Above him was a huge grabber. This engine's not for scrapping. The grabber wasn't listening. But just as it was about to grab hold of him, it stopped. There stood Sir Topham Hatt. It's a good thing I'm visiting this yard tonight. Saving you from scrap is becoming a habit, Stepney. Please stop it. Yes, sir. But I have learned something. What's that? There's no place like home. And that's exactly where you're going now. Bluebells forever.